This is Barbara Ann Rosenberg, your roving reporter, coming to you with travel and table tips. And we're on our way to Jamaica, beautiful island of Jamaica. We got there really easily from Philadelphia on Air Jamaica. And I'm sure you'll enjoy the island. We're going to see quite a bit of it. Have a good time. I know we did. Standing here in the entryway of the Orchids restaurant, which is the formal restaurant, as formal as restaurants get, in this beautiful resort of Siboney. Siboney is, by the way, that's the correct pronunciation, and it's named for the Siboney Indians who were in this part of Jamaica. Ocho Rios is where we are, and we're going to walk into the restaurant, give you a bird's eye view, and then take a look at some of the food. Join me, will you? Standing here with Annette, who is the hostess of the restaurant. Yes. And we're going to look at some of the hors d'oeuvres. I think let's move down the table a little bit, because I gave them a fast glance. I kind of like the ones at the other end even better. These are nice. But my word, look at this. What is it? Lobster?
So seafood and vegetable pizza.
Oh, my goodness. Seafood and this?
Shrimp Creole with saffron rice.
How lovely. And
Smoked island dolphin. It's on an onion pie and marmalade. Kidney beans and mixed vegetables. Grilled strip loin steak with caramelized onions. Oven baked potatoes, green beans, and carrots.
good grief. Is this my whole dinner?
Yes.
This is my whole dinner. Am I going to eat all of it? No. I'd like you to meet Deborah and Ed here, who are the marketing and public relations director of this beautiful resort. And we're going to sit down in a few minutes and have some dinner. Oh, we are up to dessert. Now, Ed, this very slim, trim, handsome man, said he wanted to taste the strudel, which is made from, what did you say? Cho-cho, which is a kind of squash. Who ever heard of squash strudel? Any event, we're having, or he's having it tonight. I might taste it. And then some rice pudding, too, because he didn't think that one was a big enough dessert for him. And what are you having, Deborah?
I'm having simple vanilla ice cream and fruit.
Oh, poor baby. Very simple. And I'm going to have my favorite rice pudding. You, my friend, get stuck with the little dessert. Never. We're at the beach at Siboney, beautiful north coast of Jamaica. And it's one of these things called all-inclusive. So people can just sign up and take these boats or anything else they want to do. I guess they can snorkel, they can scuba, they can swim at a pool, they can swim at the beach. And it is a lovely beach. Let's walk across the beach and see some of the terrain. Here in the background is another hotel and lovely rocks. So you see, it's not just a beach. Lots of people sitting out here and sunning, and some in the water, just as they do at any resort. But this one is really quite special, and I think you'd enjoy it if you came. We know a visit to Siboney would be complete without talking to the chef, the man who makes all the wonderful food possible for us, and the food has been wonderful. Tell us your name and where you come from before you were at Siboney.
My name is Jack Shapansky, and I'm originally from Minneapolis many, many years ago. And I've traveled all over the country working with Omni Hotels and a few others, and I've been in the Caribbean now going on 7 years.
7 years. Last time I saw you here, you were with Walter Stabe. And what a pair you must be. What a team. You must have a great deal of fun.
Well, yeah, we do. That's one of the reasons why I've stayed in Jamaica for 5 years, because it's been very, very fun down here. And Siboney's a great place to work. Our owners have given us a lot of good things to work with, and the people that we're bringing down here are having a lot of fun with the things that we're doing, so it's a great time.
I don't know how come wherever I go I end up in the kitchen. Only today I'm not doing the cooking.
Our Manor restaurant, where we try to take authentic recipes and put them with modern cooking techniques and contemporary plating designs to come up with something that the tourists would be happy to eat. The Jamaicans eat a lot of one-pot meals, where you have the pot going on the back of the stove or on the open flame out in the backyard, and as they go by, they add something to it all the time. And it's not really attractive.
As long as it's not me.
No. Cannibalism was out a long time ago. But anyways, today we're going to be cooking fried fish, and we're going to do an escabeche style, and we're going to serve the fried bammy with it.
Well, let me just tell you, escabeche is when you put it in kind of a salad dressing or a pickle. I guess that's what escabeche really means, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, pickled is the key word in the whole thing of escabeche.
Little vinegar or lime or lemon or something. And we're going to start with these little guys. These little snappers, are they?
Well, actually, this is a freshwater fish that we farm here in Jamaica, and they have great big fish farms on the south side of the island. It's called tilapia.
Oh, yes, indeed. Okay, well, that's great.
And they've hybrided enough that it comes out almost looking like a snapper.
Yeah, that's what I thought when I looked at it. It didn't... Okay, let's go do it.
First, pepper, which is in the States would be known as a habanero. It's a very hot, about 300,000 Scoville units, so a little bit will do you very well.
I'm surprised you could work with that with no gloves on. If I did that, my hands would sting for an hour.
My hands are pretty tough, but when I rub my eyes, then that's really a problem. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the fish, and then we're going to add the pepper to it. Then we're going to season it with a little bit of salt and pepper. Okay? And then the Jamaicans are very fond of soy sauce here, and it comes from part of their multinational culture that they've got going down here with the Chinese and the Indians and everybody. So we add a little bit of soy sauce, and it's a twofold thing that they do here with that. It gives a little bit of color to the things you're seasoning, and it also gives you a little bit of salt flavor when you're cooking it.
You don't add any salt in addition to that, I guess.
A little bit, because the Jamaican soy sauce is very weak. It has good flavor, but as far as salt goes, it's a low sodium.
Oh, I'm going to take some home.
Only by mistake, not by design. Okay, and then the next thing we do is we dredge it in flour. You got to get the oil going back there.
Chef Shapansky is adding oil to the pan so that those little critters have something to fry in. Tilapia. We farm a lot of tilapia up in New Jersey as well, you know.
It's a very nice tasting fish, and for the people that aren't really big fish eaters, it's a nice mild tasting fish, and it gives you the flavor of eating fish, but it doesn't give you the harshness of, say, like a kingfish or some of the other Caribbean fishes that can be a little bit on the flavorful side.
He has such a nice way of putting things. Wow, he's flouring those critters.
Now while we're waiting for the oil to heat up a little bit, we're going to be serving it with something called bammy. And the bammy is a cassava cake that has been soaked in milk, and we cut it into wedges. And this is very typical of the little old ladies over on the south coast. They grind up the cassava, the sweet cassava. No, actually it's the bitter cassava, and they grind it up, and then they make a pulp out of it, and they put it in little rings, and then they dry it in the sun.
Little old ladies, eh? Well, I'll have to meet those little old ladies someday.
The younger people in Jamaica are not learning the traditions that are here the way they should be learning.
Well, I think you're going to have to teach them.
Well, that's one of the things that we're trying to do at Siboney is take the young kids and bring some of the traditions back, like the jerk and the escabeche and things like that, where everybody wants to cook filet mignon and all the other things. We're trying to get back to some of the things that the kids got to know as part of their heritage.
I'm not leaving here without having some really good jerk pork and chicken.
Okay, we can do that later.
Good.
Okay, now also at the same time we've got we got some cane vinegar that's going to start cooking here, and we're going to add a mixture of carrots, sweet pepper, and onion. And this is going to be the this is the escabeche part of it.
Interesting. In English, we call it escabeche, and in Mexico, I call it an escabeche.
And some of the Spanish islands call it escabeche.
Escabeche, okay.
They'll give you
That little fish is going for a swim in some oil, hot oil, really hot. And then the cassava is going to get brown too. The bami, excuse me. Woo, I'm going to stand back from that or we're all going to get splattered. The same kind of Vulcan stoves, I guess, here that they use in the best restaurants in the States.
Oh, yeah. We bring the equipment in from the States because the equipment, well, they basically don't manufacture any restaurant equipment here in Jamaica. That would be for commercial equipment.
Well, this is the best, no question. And by the way, he's not an operative, he's a chef out of the Culinary Institute of America. That's pretty nice. Pretty nice, Jack.
Yeah, well.
Is that the way you serve food here in Siboney? I mean, that's not typical.
This is what we do at Siboney. We will serve it with the head on. We will serve it with the head on. We're not bashful here. And if you have to have the head taken off, we will take it off for you.
Well, I think that's fine, but I don't know why anybody wouldn't want the head on to see it's a real honest-to-goodness fish.
Okay. Now we're going to put the escabeche vegetable and the juices over the top of the tilapia.
Are we going to get to taste this?
This one's for you. And then we're going to garnish it with the fried bami.
Well, there's nothing like a wedding to finish things off. And for ultimate entertainment, this hotel provides weddings for some of its guests with the honeymoon suites. And here is a bride about to be given away by her father to a handsome groom. And they've come all the way from England to be married here in Jamaica. Just walking into the courtyard of a honeymoon villa at Siboney. Now, if you aren't convinced that this is a romantic place before this, with all the pictures you've seen until now and all the description I've done, just be aware of this. This is your own private pool where you can frolic with clothes or, needless to say, without. This is a honeymoon after all. A hot tub. Inside you have a his and hers bathroom. These are going to be the cleanest people in the world. Great big double bed, a sitting room over there, and it's simply breathtakingly lovely to have your own privacy here. There are 14 of them, I understand, 14 of these little beauties, all clustered together so that all the honeymooners can giggle with each other. And I'll see you later. We're not going to do the follow-on. You just saw a wedding, but this is the honeymoon villa. Who knows? Maybe they'll be staying here. Well, we're standing outside, or I'm standing outside the craft market in Montego Bay. And the craft market in Montego Bay, as you can see, has lots of hats, hand-crocheted hats and straw hats. And as we go inside, you'll see that they have straw baskets and T-shirts and other things, too. But what's so wonderful about this, if we can just walk around here a little bit, this great, gorgeous tree that sort of spreads its wings over this market. The tree has been here a lot longer than the market, and it's very, very beautiful. I guess it's a banyan with these great big roots. Very typical of Jamaica. We're in Montego Bay, and we're going inside the craft market. Several hundred styles of straw hats. If anyone can't find one here, I don't know where they will. But there's all kinds of other things too, shirts and shorts and handbags. And I'll go inside for just a little longer and see what they have. Oh, they have beads and all kinds of handcrafts. Here we are at the wood carver's shop in Montego Bay in the craft market. Here's a young man who likes being in the video. You're going to be in Philadelphia in the video. And there behind him is a man who's actually carving a very intricate and beautiful piece. You want to show us how it's going to look when it's pretty well done? See how handsomely he uses two colors of the wood to get a very different effect. Very nice. Okay, you want to tell us about, here's a finished piece, very beautiful, a lot of light wood and with some dark markings too.
This is lignum vitae, it's a national wood, national flower. It's a very hard wood to carve. I've been doing this now for many years. You carve a lot of grains into it. You know, it's grow and tie. You can look at the beautiful grain. This wood is not a very easy wood to split, you know.
No, I'm sure it's not. Tell us your name.
My name is Campbell, Gladstone Campbell.
Gladstone Campbell from Montego Bay. Come look for him when you come here. You'll enjoy his work. I'm sitting here, we are sitting here for lunch at Norma's at the Wharf House, and a more beautiful sight on the island, if there is one, I don't know about it. And this gentleman, tell me your name, sir.
My name is Addy. My name is Addy.
And Addie, what do you do here?
Well, I'm the senior waiter for the dining room.
Senior waiter for the dining room is going to tell me a little bit about what they have for lunch today.
Okay, on the lunch menu, we normally do a soup. We do like a normal pumpkin bisque or vegetable bisque. Then second thing, we have a crab back, which is a sea crab. It's just the crab meat being taken out of the shell, placed back, seasoned with herbs, and grilled afterwards, and comes with a small salad. Then we have a smoked marlin with capers and a papaya salsa with onions and capers.
You're making me hungry. I'm going to wait for dessert for another minute. But Norma's at the Wharf House. Right here, we are on a wharf with beautiful, beautiful blue and white dishes and all kinds of lovely things that make this an enchanting sight. Norma, by the way, has the reputation of being the Julia Child of the Caribbean, and that's why I'm here to taste her food. And I'll let you enjoy it with me, at least as... Norma, tell me, you are just Norma, you said a few minutes ago, when somebody referred to you as the Julia Child of the Caribbean. Tell me, Norma, what is the full name?
Norma Shirley.
Norma Shirley has the most beautiful restaurant right here at the Wharf House, on the wharf, outside of Montego Bay. People come flocking here by road and by boat. They come in, sitting at the next table here to us are a number of men from one of the boats anchored out there. And I guess they come. Would you want to talk to us a little bit about your lunch today? A normal, little, tiny lunch?
Normal lunch is, well, it depends what most people want, but basically we tend to do salads and seafood, which things like crayfish, smoked marlin, which is more on a sushi type than sort of smoked to death. And we also do lobsters and fish, and we do sea snapper. And it just depends, because it's a type of restaurant, we cook to order. So if you don't see anything on the menu, we will create dishes for you. And that's basically what I do most of the time. It's what you'd call innovative cooking.
Well, I'm ready for innovative cooking. I have just had a cucumber soup that is the most delicious cucumber soup I've ever put in my mouth. There was some little bit of texture in there, white something that was texture. Tell me what that was.
Oh, I just did it, sauteed onions, thyme, and lots of cucumbers, and lots of parsley, because I don't use salt, so I use parsley as my sauce.
No salt. How wonderful. I can send a friend of mine who is a food critic here And he can't eat. Wow, he'll be on his way.
We don't use salt. No, we use lots of herbs. And one thing Jamaica has is really fine herbs. And even if you buy thyme in North America, it isn't the same. And I think it's the soil. It's our soil.
There's no question, no question. This is Harmony Hall, one of the most beautiful examples of old Jamaican architecture. One of the remaining ones, and they have turned it into an art gallery and shops and a restaurant. I think we'll take a look and see what there is inside. Last time I was here, they had the most beautiful crafts that I saw anywhere on the island. Not just hats and baskets. So let's go take a look. This is Myrna Martin, who works here in the Harmony Hall Gift Gallery, and it's more than crafts for sure. But tell me about that harp or whatever it is. There are some wonderful musical instruments.
Okay, this instrument was made by Brother Brown. We call him Brother Brown, but his right name is Edward Brown. And he does those big ones, also small ones. And this one is it's called Starry Harp.
Where do they play it?
Well, it's 4 people play it, and they play it here. For instance, when they're doing like this drum thing, and the family plays for the craft
Just
fair.
for any kind of the craft fair? Oh, really? It's really quite gorgeous. How much is that? Just for the fun of it, tell me.
30,000 Jamaican dollars.
Which comes out to $10,000. Whoa, so it's not drop-dead giveaway cheap, but it is beautiful.
Yeah.
Lots of other things for less money, though. I was wrong. It's not $10,000. It's only $1,000. And when you consider the work that went into that, gosh, it really isn't. But there's a lot of money. There's beautiful, beautiful paintings and things in this room, many of which are very reasonable and exciting work. Well, we stepped off the very manicured and beautiful grounds of Siboney into old sort of Jamaica the way it used to be. And here's Goody's Grocery and the Rockers Club, very traditional, old-timey Jamaica. And now we're going into a place that is famed island-wide, the Double V Jerk Hut. The charming people who work at the Double V, in operation since when? How long? 69. 15 years making the best jerk pork on the island, or so I am told by Chef Shapansky. We met him in the manicured, elegant confines of Siboney, and this is where he comes when he wants jerk pork. We're looking at making the jerk pork on green wood, and if the wood gets dried out, they throw it away. Look at this. They take off the big hunks of bones and the heaviest fat, I guess, and then bring it up here after the seasoning has been done down below, and then they do those great big hunks of pork, and they sit there slowly and cook over the coals, and there's the chicken over beyond there. And we're going to taste some in a few minutes, but you can see it's not the most elegant place you've ever eaten, but I hear it is delicious. hope you enjoyed the lovely resort of Siboney and the wonderful food that we had at the Wharf House. Well, you didn't get to taste it, but you saw how beautiful it is, and Norma from the Wharf House does get to the States every now and then, and she's worth following to see where you can eat her food. And of course, Siboney was great, just great.